Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, guys? Node Investor here. Quick update on the market, guys. I just want to say Bitcoin is basically at $1,800. We're going to get a little bumpy here and hold on for the ride. There's a little volatility showing up in some of the other altcoins. I want to go into that. Some news that's driving some of the volatility. So let's take a quick look at the markets. $52 billion market cap, guys. $52 billion. Bitcoin, $1,800. Ethereum, $90. Ripple, 17 cents. Ripple has been very volatile here as of late. Litecoin, $29. Let's see some of the other coins that I keep an eye on. Dash, basically $90. Monero, 28. Let's see here. Pivx, $1.32. Ethereum Classic kind of pulling in a little bit, $6. Zcash pulling in $94. Factum down almost 12%, $8.93. So let's talk some news. So Bitcoin continues to make headlines, all-time highs. We are starting to see $100 plus days in Bitcoin on the way up. And it's just moving. I mean, Bitcoin is moving nicely here. We are seeing some volatility on the downside for some of these other ones. Ripple, for example, over the weekend was up to 25 cents. It was down all the way to 12 and back up, and it's just been very. Keep an eye on here is Litecoin. So there's this thing called SegWit, segregated witness, that's going to be activated here very soon. So we're looking at a day away from SegWit. Now, what tends to happen in this space is the buy the rumors, sell the news type scenario. So we saw it with Bitcoin when it had the halving. We've seen it with the potential ETF. Leading up to the news, you see a big run up. After the news, you see some selling, some profit taking, a lot of volatility. So hold on, guys. It's probably going to get a little bumpy here. We'll see what happens after SegWit. Maybe we have a big pop and then the selling, or maybe everything moves back into Bitcoin. I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. Maybe nothing happens. I think we'll see some volatility. Another thing driving the news here, Litecoin mining pool disappears, stoking fears of fraud. We've seen this over the years. Send me your money, buy my hardware, and then these folks disappear. Unfortunately, there's counterparty risk when you're sending your money to someone. Happens to exchanges. It happens to mining pools. I don't do any mining. I used to. I don't invest in mining or mining pools or any of that. Just not for me. I don't like the returns that you see. It just seems like you're just constantly having to keep up with the hardware and buy more and more. Just not really for me. But that did cause a little bit of bad press for Litecoin. And the other thing was Poloniex. So Poloniex suffered a DDoS attack today, put the site down early this morning for a little bit. A couple of days ago, we saw the same thing happen to Kraken, the other exchange. So just causing some volatility. When you see that happen, there's this panic that tends to happen, right? People say, oh, the exchange is down. My coins are gone. People start selling blindly. And so you see that in the charts. So just hold on, guys. Things are a little bumpy right now. Let's take a quick look at some of these charts here. BTC, this is on Poloniex US dollar tether, USDT. BTC, basically $1,700. One thing I want to point out here, let me go to the dailies and zoom out a little bit here. Look at this volume. Look at these gray bars at the bottom of the chart. So when Bitcoin was down in the 800 range, you would see some big volume selling, but then it was kind of not that big. And then look what happened here. Volume just ballooned. And then this whole run up to here. And here at the very end, right, the highs, this $1,500 to $1,700 range, you're seeing all-time high volume on Bitcoin. And that's what's continuing to push the price up. But what that also means is the last of these buyers, the people that wanted to get in that haven't been in, are trying to buy here at the highs, right? So sometimes that's sellers showing up. So just keep an eye, guys. Things could get a little volatile here. we're seeing new highs, and like I said before, new highs beget new highs, and so we can continue to see Bitcoin push to 2,000, right? Or it could sell off here. We saw a little bit of panic selling last Friday where there was this $200 plus range couple of days here, and then it just started to go right back up. Let's look at another one, Ripple. Ripple, we're going to have to zoom in here a little bit. So Ripple, the short story is I'm a fan of Ripple. I like the business model. I like the idea. I like the market they're going after, the institutional investors, the banks, and the business team, the leadership team at Ripple is solid. I've been a fan of Ripple. Now, they've been signing on a lot of banks, which is what's driving this big price run up. And so they basically have gone from a nice base around 3 cents. They popped up to 6 cents. Zoomed right back up to about 10, 11 cents. I think I pointed this out on a video a few days back. And then over the weekend just exploded again up to about 25 cents. Saw some big sellers show up there. Seems to be pulling back a little bit here. Hit this moving average here on the 4-hour chart, which is nice to see. So let's see if that holds. That could be an area of support that maybe we build a new base in. Could offer an opportunity to get in if you haven't and you want to. That's an area to look at, but I would personally wait until this plays out a little bit here. It could just bounce right up and then continue down. If we zoom in on the 2-hour chart on Ripple, looks similar, so not bad. Looks like these moving averages are holding. This shorter term is holding, so we'll see if this holds, right? Just this downtrend needs to show that it's over and maybe flatten out a little bit or start to go up. Stellar Lumens. So Stellar is a similar market space as Ripple. So they're also trying to do the same thing. They're going after the Swift system. I'll probably end up doing a video on Ripple and Stellar and NEM and kind of include all three of them. Stellar again was kind of a explosive move. I mean, it went from 0.05 cents up to basically 8 cents before it sold. Well more than a 10x move, kind of settled around the 5 cents, which was 10x from just a couple of days ago. Huge volume showed in. I think a lot of that was really just spillover from the Ripple sentiments, saying, hey, Ripple's blowing up, Stellar's basically similar, let's buy it, it's cheap here. And it has since begun to correct. It's down to about 2 to 3 cents here. Looks to be holding a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going to buy it yet. I'm looking at it, but I need to see some more basing on the chart here. It just went parabolic for a couple of days there. See if it holds. It seems to be holding these shorter term moving averages, so give it some time, guys. Stellar one to keep an eye on. Ethereum. So Ethereum is really consolidating some of this move here recently. It seems to be falling below these moving averages here. Let's look at the daily charts. Look at this big selling and right back up. That's a good sign. Look at where it hit. It literally hit to the penny this moving average. We like to see that. You have the big move up. You see a little bit of consolidating, maybe some scare panic sellers getting out, and then support shows up and they pop it right back up. It's a good sign. It's still a little bit of a top here. Let's see if it could just base here or maybe just continue to consolidate into this moving average and then pop right back up. So Ethereum's looking good. Don't panic, folks, but it's going to be a little bumpy here, I think. Near term, I think it's below the moving averages on the shorter term scale. Let's see here. So yeah, let's see if this holds. It's going to bounce right into that $89 range. If it continues to sell off, then we'll probably see some more downside testing before it bottoms out. But this is encouraging. This big sign, this big buyer showing up here at the $70 range. Let's look at Litecoin. Again, Litecoin had the big move from 11 to 15 to 29, 30 range. Again, they try to sell this one off. Look at where it hit. Big sellers and then big buyers showed up right at that moving average, popped it right back up. Seems to be hitting that little bit of resistance around 30. It'd be nice to see Litecoin just bounce around here. We'll see what happens after SegWit. If it breaks above that $31, $32 range, we'll see another leg up. But right now, this $25 area seems to be a good support zone for Litecoin. Ethereum Classic. I know some of you guys have asked me about Ethereum Classic. Seems to be putting in a little bit of a top here, selling off a little bit. Let's look at the daily charts. Again, they sold it off. This was probably more in sympathy with the Ethereum selling off. Came all the way down to about $5. Popped it right back up. Good support. Not as much volume on the buy up. The short story is I'm not a fan of Ethereum Classic long term. I think if you had to pick between the two, just go Ethereum. Ethereum Classic in the near term could continue to make strong gains as Ethereum catches up. It kind of already has, right? It blew out between this 270 range and just went straight up to almost $8. Huge move up. We'll see what happens next. Is it basing out here? Will it just let these moving averages catch up and then go again? It possibly could. Longer term, I would just pick Ethereum if it were me. Dash is one I've been keeping an eye on. I'm still waiting to see if it goes beyond this $111 mark. If it continues to sell off, that's going to be a pretty solid double top pattern. At that point, we'll probably test these lower areas in the $40 range where we saw a lot of support. But they try to sell it off. They bought it right back up, so that's a good sign. Let's zoom in a little bit on Dash. Still below the key moving averages here, so probably not a lot to do until it can reclaim that ground and get back around the $100 range. We'll see if it holds, but there's a big seller showing up on Dash here. Doesn't seem to be wanting to go higher just yet. Monero, let's look at Monero, getting volatile here again. I think a lot of this selling was early this morning on the Poloniex news. People kind of freaked out. Exchange was down. It's bouncing right back up again, kind of holding the moving average. I called the breakout around this $24, $25 mark. Not bad. We went all the way up to 35. We saw a lot of sellers showing up in this area, and it's bouncing right back. So we'll see where it goes. Zcash. I was really thinking Zcash was going to break out here. It was building this little base, and then they just sold it off. It doesn't seem to want to be going higher here just yet. Zcash longer term probably has some good potential. If you look at the chart here, had this nice long base, popped up. It really needs to conquer this 107 to 114 area before it moves up. This is an area of resistance going back to when it first came out. There was a lot of sellers that showed up at this price range also. So that's really it. So let's look at NEM on the BTC. Steem. I'll talk about Steem. Steem. I was in Steem way back when it first came out. Feels like a little bit of pump and dump right now. It's doubled, gone up a lot. I'll hold my thoughts on Steem. Steem. Okay, let's look at NEM. NEM, again, another one that has had a nice move up. I like NEM, the technology. I like NEM, the concept here, where it's going to go. Price-wise, near term, had this big blowout. Then we kind of went up. Somebody hit me up on Twitter saying, hey, do you like NEM? I said I'd like to see NEM over 4,000 BTC for a couple hours. Looks like it did. Don't know if you did anything with it, but I did give you a heads up on that one. Went straight up to about 8,000 and then back down here. So it's a little volatile here. Looks like it wants to base out. Maybe give you an opportunity to get in NEM for the longer term here. A lot of volume, but here's what I don't like to see, right? You see these long wicks at the top of these candles? That's sellers. That's not buyers. The volume is huge, and that's because as the price goes up, the sellers show up and it pushes the price right back down. So there's a lot of sellers of NEM right in this area. It just needs to consolidate some of this recent move. NEM has really come up in terms of market cap lately, so probably just basing out here. So pretty volatile all around, with the exception of Bitcoin. Bitcoin just powers up, continues to move up. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'm going to probably do a video on NEM, Ripple, and Stellar here, specifically looking at the technologies and where we could go from there and whether or not they're good for the long term. Appreciate all the comments. I really appreciate the subscribers. I'm going to do my best to keep giving you guys some updates on the market. Until then, guys, take care.